Ohio. Burgas, the biggest city of southeast Bulgaria and the fourth in population in the country after Sofia, Plovdiv and Varna. Burgas is the important economic, transport, administrative and cultural center of southeast Bulgaria. The city, the administrative center of the community of the same name and area. As of March 15, 2016, the population of the city was 211,752 people. Burgas is located on the west bank of the Gulf of Burgas of the Black Sea, in the most east point of the Burgas lowland. The city is surrounded Burgas, Atanisovsky with lakes and the Lake Mandra on the west, to the southwest and the northeast. The city is at distance of 385 km from Sofia, 267 km from Plovdiv and 133 km from Varna. Because of the fact that the warmest part of the water area of the Black Sea is located in his southeast part, and the all-Black Sea current moves counterclockwise, in the winter the carrying out of warm air masses over the sea continues to happen from the south and the southeast on the northeast. On the Black Sea coast of Bulgaria, waters of a current bring cold waters from gulfs of the Odessa and Kherson regions of Ukraine adjoining flat parts. As a result, the climate in more southern Burgas is colder than in Anapa, located though much to the north on width, but in warmer part of the water area of the Black Sea. A predecessor of the modern city is the city of Burgos, based by Greeks from being to the south of Apollonia. Modern Sozopol. The city of Burgas was founded in the 17th century on the place of the fishing village which was in the place of the Greek colony Burgos. During the Russian-Turkish War of 1828-1829 in July 1829, Burgas was taken by the Russian troops. On July 12, 1829, the first crew of the 1st Alansky Division, the Street, Petersburg and Kharkiv Alansky regiments, which were ordered by the Major General A. Nabil, left to Burgas. The Turkish garrison left the city, but was overturned by the Russian Uhlans, lost 2 tools and departed to the city. 2 Alansky regiments rushed into Burgas after the receding opponent, captured 10 tools. It is a lot of property and food. On December 6, 1829, the General A. Nabil received the Order of St. George of the 3rd degree for capture of Burgas. During the Russian-Turkish War of 1877-1878, in February 1878, the group of the Russian troops under command of the Colonel A.M. Lermontov occupied the city without fight. After the end of war in 1878, development of the city, which became more active after completion of construction of the railroad from Burgas to Sofia in 1890, began. In 1890, 5,000 people, Bulgarians, Greeks and Turks, lived in the city. The customs and sanitary office, 2 mosques, Orthodox Greek Church, the Armenian Church and the Roman Catholic Church worked here. Trade was generally concentrated in hands of Greeks. The main export goods were wool, oil, cheese. In 1903-1904 the French firm Batignolles carried out works on improvement of the harbor and construction of port that contributed to further development of the city. In the 1900 years in the city there are industrial enterprises for processing of agricultural raw materials, flour grinding, butter, on production of sugar. Soon in Burgas 18 foreign firms worked. By 1910 the population of Burgas was about 9,000 people. After the end of World War I, the value of Burgas increased. In the 1920th years it became the main export port for the southern and central Bulgaria. In 1926 the population of the city was 31,000 people. Several industrial enterprises and one of the steam mills, largest in Bulgaria, worked here. During the Civil War in Russia in 1918-1920 Burgas along with Varna was one of the main points through which in Bulgaria there arrived the Russian emigrants. In the city there was the Russian community. In 1920 in Burgas there began work the Russian kindergarten. In 1932, initial school. In 1934 the board for children is more senior than 5 years. On August 28, 1932 in the city the Burgas Cossack village. For 1938 the Ataman, the Lieutenant General P. 1. Grekov. On March 8, 1936, the Cossack Cultural and Educational Charitable Society of Yermak was founded. On October 24, 1937 at the city cemetery the monument to the Russian emigrants who died in Burgas. After 1960 the fate of a monument is unknown. Was solemnly consecrated. The Russian priest Leonid Trailin served in the Burgas Cathedral of Saints Kirill and Methody. I sang the Russian chorus, known as Chorus of the Don Cossacks of Sergei subsequently. In 1939 the Russian public of Burgas presented to Cathedral of an icon, Blessed Virgin Mary the Kasparovsky and God's Mother the Defender, which are in cathedral to this day. In 1924 in the city there began work the factory on production of office supplies. In the middle of May, 1940 in the territory of Bulgaria under the guise of meteorological stations, 3 centers of radio intercept of Anabra which were under expeditious supervision of Dulles Bureau were open. One of the centers of radio intercept was open in Burgas. Also in 1940 Germans began re-equipment of the port of Burgas for placement of the fighting ships to the Krigmarina. March 1, 1941 in Vienna documents on accession of Bulgaria to the Pact of Rome-Berlin-Tokyo according to which Bulgaria allowed placement of the German military units in the territory of Bulgaria were signed. On March 2, 1941 the German troops were sent on the territory of Bulgaria. Further till September 1944 in Burgas the ships of the German Navy were based. In September 1944 for hijacking of the German ships which were in port, the landing of the Black Sea Fleet of the Hussar which didn't encounter resistance from the Bulgarian armed forces in connection with transition of Bulgaria to the side of the anti-Hitlerite coalition was landed. In 1945 the art gallery opened. In 1947 on the basis of small workshops on production of electrotechnical products the cable plant, Vasil Kolarov, was constructed. In 1948 8 small fish canning enterprises of Burgas were nationalized and united in the state enterprise, Slavyanka, which received the new equipment. Due to mechanization of productions the annual outputs by 1954 increased 3 times in comparison with indicators of 1944. Besides fish canned food production of canned meat, jam and compotes was developed here. Slavyanka became the first enterprise of the canning industry of Bulgaria with a continuous, not seasonal, cycle of work. In 1950, the 1970th years the city quickly developed as the industrial center and the resort. In 1951 the car repair plant developed production of railway cars. In 1963 the oil refinery constructed by means of the Usser. In 1974 the ship repair plant was put into operation. In 1976 the structure of the city included the village of Medan the Mine, and here the inhabited residential district, Medan Mine, was built. Since 1998 in Burgas there takes place the International Theatre Festival ashore. In 2000 in the city the Rock Explosia Festival, in which first place was won by the Bulgarian group BTR, was held. Population 1986 182,570, 1992 195,686, 1997 198,400, 2006 196,500, 2013 206,371. Comet. Mayor of Community Burgas, Diamond Nikolaev. Is Citizens for European Development of Bulgaria, the coat of arms. By results of elections 2007, 2011, 2015 and 2019. The Burgas petrochemical plant constructed in the 1960th years, the largest industrial complex in Southeast Europe. On March 15, 2007 in Athens between the governments of Russia, Greece and Bulgaria the agreement on construction of the Novorossiysk, Burgas, Alexandropoli oil pipeline was signed. Also there are enterprises of food, textile, mechanical engineering industry. Fishery is developed. In Burgas area the resort area. The sunny beach, Nesibur. Dalej Prizevi the resort, Burgaskiave bath Mineralna. The important transport hub in the country, the railway junction, bus station, seaport, marina, the international airport. City public transport consists of 26 bus and 2 trolleybus lines served by Burgasbus. Other lines in the city are served by Comfort. 2 bus stations in the city work for Burgasbus. The bus station to the west from the railway station Vladimir Pavlov and the bus station to the south of the central railway station Burgas. In 10 kilometers to the northeast from the downtown there is a Burgas airport. In the western part of the coast of the Black Sea, in the Gulf of the same name the Burgas port is located. The port has in total 20 moorings with the maximum draft of 12.3 meters. Interior of the railway station of Burgas after the restoration which is carried out in 2015. The central station built in 1903 in Burgas was one of the first railway stations in Bulgaria. The building is announced by an architecture monument. The center of Burgas is very interesting in the architectural relation. And in the set of the houses in modernist style built at the beginning of the 20th century, and the houses in style functionalism constructed in the 1930th years remained. One of the most known sites of the city, the Seaside Park created in 1910. The park which total area is 60 hectares from the east borders on the beach, from the south with Burgasport. It is considered one of the most beautiful parks of Bulgaria in which plants from all continents grow. Here it is possible to see such trees as a plane tree, a linden, an elm, a birch, an aubusson, the Lebanese cedar, a cypress, a cryptomeria. The old part of the Seaside Park is announced by a monument of park art. In his territory there are sculptural monuments to many famous people, including the monument to Alexander Pushkin opened in 1952 and the monument to Adam Mickiewicz opened in 1949. Among recently opened monuments, the sculpture of the famous stage and film actor Georgy Koloyanchev established in 2015 near Summer Theatre. In Summer Theatre the famous scenic and music bands and soloists act. There take place various festivals, including the International Folklore Festival, the National Song Contest, Burgas and the Sea, the Opera Festival, Burgas Musical Holidays of Emil Chakarev, etc. In the downtown Bulgaria Street 21. The Archaeological Museum, which exposition acquaints visitors with the finds relating to ancient Thrace, the Greek and Roman colonies, is placed. The Historical Museum represents the political, cultural and economic history of the city since ancient times up to now. The exposition of the Natural Science Museum 49th Street 30. Is devoted to history and the modern provision of the nature of southeast Bulgaria. The collection of the Ethnographic Museum Street of Sloviansk is interesting. 269. Where it is possible to see samples of a suit of various ethnographic groups of the region and to get acquainted with original local customs, including a Nestinarstvo. Monument to the soldiers of Burgas group who died of diseases from March to October 1878 in infirmaries of regiments of the 93rd Irkutsk and 94th Yenisei Military and Time Hospital No. 71. Monument to Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. Monument to appreciation to the Russian soldiers liberators. Commemorative plaque on a wall of the Armenian church in honor of the Major General Alexander Lermontov who entered Burgasov. In Burgas there are temples of various religious faiths. The Orthodox Cathedral of Saints Kirill and Methody B.B. constructed in 1897-1907 on the project of the Italian architect Riccardo of Tuscany is considered one of symbols of the city. Windows over the portal are executed in modernist style. Among other Orthodox churches, Blessed Virgin Mary's Church 1840-1860. Lermontov Street. B-sides on the same street. 13. There is an Armenian church, Serbkach. The Sacred Cross. Constructed in the 17th century and which was repeatedly reconstructed. In 1878 at the solemn liturgy devoted to liberation of Bulgaria at the temple there was a Major General A.M. Lermontov. There is also Catholic Temple of Virgin Mary. Zarpayat Street. In the city there are two universities. Private, the Burgas Free University founded in 1991 and the only state university in southeast Bulgaria, the Prof. Drive. Asenslaterev University. It is founded in 1963. Since 1888 the Library of P. Yavarov, which in 1988 received the status of scientific, largest in the specified region, works. In the city several theaters. Drama Theatre of Adriana Budevskaya. Since 1912, the name of the actress is appropriated in 1953. The State Puppet Theatre, the State Opera Theatre, Philharmonic Hall, Art Atelier Theatre. Cultural actions will be organized also in the Sea Casino, which is in the territory of the Seaside Park. Since 2016 there takes place here the International Film Festival, BIF, at which movies of the countries of Black Sea coast, Bulgaria, Romania, Moldova, Ukraine, Russia, Georgia, Armenia, Greece, Turkey, are presented. Twin cities: Greece, Alexandropoli, Greece; Georgia of Batumi, Georgia; Slovakia, Bratislava, Slovakia; Belarus, Gomel, Belarus; Poland, Gdansk, Poland; Russia, Krasnodar, Russia; Russia, Orenburg, Russia; Georgia of Poti, Georgia; Netherlands, Rotterdam, Netherlands; People's Republic of China, Yantai, China; Russia, Yaroslavl, Russia; Russia, Kogalym, Russia. In honor of capture of Burgas by the Russian troops in 1829, the 60-gun frigate of the Russian fleet was called Burgas, which was a part of the Black Sea Fleet. In November 1832 participated in the Caucasian Campaign, and in 1842 was converted in. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.